What you sipping on?
Coffee.
Is that a Starbucks mug?
Yeah, I got it from the first Starbucks.
Wow. Were you flexing that around the home? It's like, look, guys, her titties are out.
It's a gift for the house. I got the Blockbuster mug for our apartment, but I got this mug for the house. So it's sort of I figured bring one mug home and leave one mug in LA. Why not?
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah,
that's clever.
So should we sort of give the rundown of what's happening right now?
Sure. So as you know, people of the court, we're approaching the holiday season. So
we are.
Some of us have returned home to our families and loved ones in Maryland, while others of us have not, are still in the city, in that grime.
Yeah.
For those of you that would like to know, I am the one in the city.
Yep.
Well, my man's Kevin over here. He's returned in Maryland. But of course, we got to get a podcast episode in there, so here we are.
Yeah, I've flown far, and we were going to try last week to record an episode a little earlier.
I don't know why we didn't.
Because I think it's because we wanted to grind our, sort of individual projects before we flew back to Maryland, because there's a few materials and stuff in LA that we just don't have in Maryland, and it would be too much to bring home. So Sean and I were kind of locked in for the last few days, so we didn't end up recording an episode before I flew, and I flew on Thursday, which is usually when we record and stuff. So it just didn't really work out. But we wanted to get an episode in this week nonetheless, because a lot has happened in the past week.
Has a lot happened?
Yeah, I mean, I flew. You had, you've been working on the album. I got a lot of my animation done before I left. I also just saw my brother's shows, his theater shows in Maryland. So
badass.
A lot has happened. I feel like we haven't talked since I got back to Maryland. So this is kind of you and I catching up, Sean.
This is our catch up. This is our catch up right here.
Our track of the the transition period from LA to Maryland, kind of, but it's half, because Sean's gonna be in Maryland any day now.
Yeah, it's coming. It's in I leave on Tuesday, I believe.
So the next podcast should be in person, if all goes well.
If all goes well.
Yeah.
All too well.
Exactly. And then it'll be a full Maryland podcast. But I wanted to get at least one more LA podcast in, since you're still in LA.
Kind of half LA podcast. Yeah, I see it.
Exactly. We can't stop just for traveling. We can't let the.
That's true.
Yeah. So where should we begin? I mean,
I don't even know. I want to know how how have you been this week or ish, since we only spent half of this week together. So
it feels so weird now. We've been spending all the time together. So now it's wow, where's Sean?
I was gonna say that the apartment feels really weird, because I didn't realize this, but every night since we got here, we've spent together.
Yeah.
So this is the first night I spent without you, and it feels really out of pocket.
Oh, I'm sorry. I left the apartment so early.
I feel strange. It feels wrong.
But what was your question again? It was just how has it been? What's been going on basically for me?
Yeah, so how was the flight, especially? Because that's the thing about artists that aren't from Los Angeles. You have to keep going back and forth all the time.
This is the first time I've been back to Maryland since we moved out to LA, and this is actually the first flight I've taken fully alone. I think I don't think I've ever flown completely alone before.
Wow! Welcome to the lone flying lifestyle, bro. Yeah. I've done many of those at this point.
Yeah, it was honestly very chill. I kind of liked it.
It's relaxing, right? You're just kind of existing.
It's kind of relaxing, yeah, because you're just all right, I'm doing my business and I got to do it,
Yeah.
And so it was good. I mean, I got a lift to the airport, and my Lyft driver was really cool. He'd been he lived an interesting life. He had this job where he had to go work at I think it was new restaurants he had to go try new restaurants that were opening up or something. That was his job for 33 years. So he just
How's that a job?
I don't know. It's but he did it for 33 years, and he got
That's one of the best jobs in the world.
I know.
Go and just try people's food.
So when we were talking about cities, and he was because I was telling him I was flying into DC. He's oh yeah, I've been to DC and I've been here and there, and And I'm like, it just closed down. The job doesn't exist anymore because of COVID or something. But I'm like, dang, that sounds like such an interesting job. And now he just got a...
I was going to say, that's very different from the Uber driver that I had and his job thing. He says he also travels a lot, but it's for very different circumstances.
Why? What were the circumstances?
So I was headed to like a medical thing or whatever, right? So I was in this Uber, and I was just talking to this guy. He seems like a regular like Latino guy, just like chilling. And then out of nowhere, we're talking about like, I don't know, we brought up like cuddling season and hoeing season, and how there's definitely a difference, because he's like, yeah, like my business really slowed down during like this cuddle season because everyone's like with their families and loved ones for the holidays. And then he started going into like, yeah, so I run this escort business. And I was like, I was like, wait, you're a pimp? Bro, it was like out of nowhere. It went from like, oh, he's a regular Uber driver to like, oh shit, like this guy's like a pimp.
Where was this in LA? This was in LA?
This was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Wow. I don't think prostitution prostitution is not legal in California yet, right?
I think it is, but under certain, it's like halfway legal. It's not completely illegal.
I was gonna say if it was in Vegas, that would make sense, but it wasn't in Vegas.
Like, I think you can be a sex worker, but there's a lot of regulation on like how you can do it. But you can do a whole like escort business. Like, that's fine.
You can. That's like chill. Interesting. That's so interesting.
Yeah, so he was just telling me like, oh, like Super Bowl like weekend and then like onward, he is so busy. Like all kinds of people are like getting out these hotels and flying people out. Like he's making a lot of money at that time.
Because of the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Because the Rams were in the Super Bowl last year?
Not just the Rams, but I think it's like, okay, first of all, yeah, because the Rams like went stupid this last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that LA, like in a long time, that's like ever like been at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I heard they're not even usually like a football city at all. But like
no, usually they suck. But this has been a really awesome time for LA in terms of football. But he's made it sound like in general, any Super Bowl weekend he's busy. So he's like flying out to like these different states and different countries sometimes, and like apparently a lot of the girls at USC are like they like work for him. He said it to like impress me or something like that. He's like, yeah, like did you know that like people at your school like a lot of them work for me actually. Them. Some girls at UCLA. Like he's trying to like a lot of them actually.
He's trying to like flex to you about his escort service.
Yeah, I was like, bro, like, why are you telling me their business like this?
Yeah, what?
I don't need to know that.
That's so interesting. Some Uber and Lyft drivers, man, they live really interesting lives. Here's your sign to talk to your Lyft driver. See what they're up to.
Exactly. You never know if they're running an escort business.
Exactly.
I almost questioned. I was like, wait a second. Is he trying to like recruit me? Is this?
I know. I was about to say, you're gonna be like, are there any spots open? I could use a
because he really didn't hide it. He was like, yeah, like I run this escort business. Like I stay pretty busy from Super Bowl weekend onward until like Halloween, Thanksgiving time. Then everything becomes cuddle season. No one really wants to like rent out a bunch of prostitutes.
You can make a lot
escorts
of like you get a lot of information. I feel like about the world by being a Lyft driver. You can based on like when people need rides. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like being a driver allows you to literally see the world. So you're getting all these different perspectives and like stories from all kinds of people and like places and things. And
it's pretty interesting
to explore.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I feel like the classic adventurer. Like, like those adventure stories from, like, old of, like, oh, him and this merry band of people would, like, scour the earth for, like, these grand stories of, like, grandeur or something. Like, I feel like the modern-day Uber driver and Lyft driver is basically that. They gather random people and they go places.
He's like the pirate of the olden day. Like,
exactly.
I was on the Atlantic, and...
I was out on the Atlantic seas, moving my escorts from one place to another.
Oh no!
Oh my god! It was so whack.
Yeah. Anyway, Lyft drivers are great, but So that was cool. That was a fun way to get to the airport, and then I roamed around the airport. I felt like I was in Terminal, like the Tom Hanks movie, like just like roaming around an airport. I think it's called Terminal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Terminal.
I was like, wow, I'm roaming around this airport, but I made it with like time to spare. I got myself some food, got on the flight, and the flight was chill. I mean, I had to sit in the middle, unfortunately, but I'm used to it. On my trips like to and back from China, I had to sit in the middle on like both ways.
That's rough, buddy.
So I'm used to it, you know. And I sat in the middle a lot on our road trip to Seattle and back. So I'm just used to sleeping with my head down, like, you know, my head down or my head back. But I'm a pro at it now, unfortunately.
The most recent time that I sat in the middle was when I was sitting in the middle, and then there was this guy next to me who was sleeping a lot, and then there was someone with a baby at the window seat.
Oh my gosh, that's frustrating.
And I was just thinking, like, either you didn't have a choice in the seating, or you're like a complete idiot, bro. Because this bro, I got like baby powder on me, and I was so mad, bro.
Yeah, I think if you have a baby, it's probably best to like. Well, I guess.
Don't fly. Don't fly.
Well, people with babies have to fly.
No. No, don't do it. No one likes your baby on this plane. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. If your baby is plane trained, like, they don't cry too much. Like, they can cry. That's no problem. But, like, if they cry loudly and, like, way too much, take them off of the goddamn plane, bro. Train them, and then when they're ready, put them on a goddamn plane.
You heard it here first.
I don't know a single person, and this might be controversial. I don't care. but like, if you have a baby, refuse the plane. For everybody's sake, bro. No one likes a baby on a plane.
If you have a baby and you're trying to go home for the holidays, just don't. Or drive, says Sean.
Literally wait until they're a certain age. If you have to go somewhere, then get the window seat all the way in the freaking back so no one can hear or see him, or her.
Gosh.
Like, respectfully, it just sucks. And I know it doesn't just suck for us. Like, as a mother or father carrying this baby around, it sucks for y'all too. So it's like, so don't waste people. Yeah, like, man, I'm gonna try to keep calm.
I'm sorry that you had to experience that traumatic event of having a baby on a plane.
Bro, there is nothing worse than trying to go to sleep on a cramped plane, right? Like, I'm already 6'4", my knees are hurting. I'm just trying to find some peace and meditate, and this fucking baby powder just all over my fucking elbow. Yeah. Like, there's no, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm
bro.
sorry that happened to you. That's really traumatic.
Anyway, I hope next time I'm on this plane, there better be no goddamn fucking babies, bro. I swear to God, next baby I see, I'm punching that thing, bro.
Well, I hope it's not your baby. The next baby.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If I had a baby, we're not going anywhere until they're like 3-4 years old and can handle themselves a little
You're just
better.
gonna stay inside, like the apartment. You're just gonna chill with the baby for 3 years.
Just locked in, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, it's fun to go to places with your baby or drive around places, but the plane is literally like this small, pressurized room with way too many people in it. It's literally the last place you want to put a baby.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Last place. Well, maybe in the middle of a jungle is also the last place, but
yeah,
it's up there.
But yeah, so I did that, and the flight was good. I sat next to these dudes who seemed relatively chill, and I watched.
Were they blokes?
They were blokes. One of them had a USC jacket on, and I talked to him.
Let's go!
Yeah, so I thought he went to USC, but actually I learned later that he didn't. He just was visiting for like 10 days, and he is from like he's from like, no, is it West Virginia or just Virginia? I can't remember.
West Virginia.
But it seemed so like random, like that because he was like, he lived in like the country in like Virginia or West Virginia.
I see.
And I guess like this was just the closest airport to him, like the DC one, and so that's like why he had to fly into it. But yeah, he was from like the middle of nowhere, and he was just like visiting like his friends.
Visiting friends or something?
Yeah.
I see.
And I watched DC Super Pets on the plane, which I, funny enough, have been meaning to watch.
You've been such a fiend to watch Super Pets.
Because nobody wanted to watch DC Super Pets with me.
Why? I don't want to see another
Kevin Hart.
Freaking Kevin Hart and The Rock film, but now they're little cute doggies, and they have a cute doggy team. You know, like, oddly enough, I would have wanted to watch that movie more if they weren't starring.
Yeah, I do have a weird thing about, like, I don't know, I just feel like you have this fantastic actors that have always voiced like Superman and people and stuff, and and for whatever reason, like, when it comes to like these huge budget movies, they never hire the actors that should be voicing these characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you have so many people, and I'm not even talking about The Rock and Kevin Hart. I'm talking about, for example, Superman in the movie. Let me search it on IMDb. Who even like voiced Superman? Because
that's what I'm saying. Because what happens a lot in these like animations is that instead of hiring voice actors, they just hire actors, which is fine. Like, you want your movie to get clout. I mean, how else are you gonna get that movie sold? I get it, star power, but voice acting is a certain skill that I think other people are more suited for. That's all.
Let me see who. Yeah. Okay. No roast to John Krasinski, because like, you know, he's cool.
Wait. Jim from The Office.
Why is he voicing Superman?
Because he's I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to reset my phone down.
Maybe he had a really good audition. Do you even audition for these types of roles? I feel like they just give them to actors. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like process.
It's so that when you go into the trailer and you, like at the end of the trailer, you see it's like The Rock, Kevin Hart, John Krasinski, but you know, you can't help but wonder, you know, why is Jason Sudeikis voicing the Angry Bird? Why did Jason Sudeikis have the perfect voice for the Angry Bird? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, why did like, and hey, I get John Krasinski is technically a superhero now, and that's cool and all, but he's not Superman. He doesn't even sound like Superman. So like in the movie.
That's an interesting choice. I mean, you saw it, so.
Yeah, Superman's in it, and Superman was cool in it, but I'm like, why is John Krasinski... Like, I didn't even realize it was John Krasinski, but I thought...
will say this, though. I'll make a case for my guy, John Krasinski.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he has a very good, and this probably just comes from The Office, but he has a really good, like, everyman voice. Right?
I mean,
with,
sure.
like, the everyday man. And so, like, and Superman, like, the Clark Kent aspect of him is that everyday man style, so maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe. I just really think that, like, if you're hiring John Krasinski for this role, you're not hiring John Krasinski because you're like, he's the perfect Superman voice. You're hiring him so you can put John Krasinski in the credits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in the trailer credits to get there. And it's frustrating. It's... Because
how did he sound as Superman though? Because it could be that he gives a killer performance.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Like, it was fine, but it didn't sound like Superman. Like, go listen. Like, if you like, I mean, if you really are curious, like, Google like, you know, Superman from DC Super Pets for like one scene, and you'll just be like, why did they cast John Krasinski? Maybe I'm going on too much of a tangent. But The Rock, at least, like, The Rock actually, I was fine with. And actually, The Rock and Kevin Hart actually, like, kind of worked as, like, the main two characters, like, low-key, for what they were going for. Because...
Their chemistry?
Yeah, their chemistry. And The Rock is actually used to voice acting by now. You know, he did, like, Moana. He's actually pretty good at it. Like, I actually think The Rock does a pretty good job with what he's given. You know, especially because he like came from like being a wrestler and stuff. Like he's entertaining. I think he's good. I actually really liked Black Adam, even though the reviews weren't that great. I thought he did a good job, and he's funny when he's in comedic roles. And you see so much of him that he might be starting to get like the Ryan Reynolds syndrome, where people start thinking they're seeing too much of him. You know, but
people are tired of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I heard this from somebody the other day. They said they just hate seeing Ryan Reynolds movies because like Ryan Reynolds is like the same in every movie.
Well, that's true.
Which I understand, but I still really liked. I really liked what's the one with like the Free Guy. I really liked Free Guy, and I really liked. Yeah, and I really liked. Well, I didn't.
Adam Project.
The Adam Project was cool too. Yeah.
I like Adam Project.
Yeah, so I like Ryan Reynolds movies, and of course Deadpool and all that stuff. But The Rock, I can understand why it would be a similar thing. Like, The Rock is in everything. So it's like, why would I want to watch? But Kevin Hart, you know, I feel like I haven't seen him as much recently as he was in, like, 5 years ago. Like, I feel like I saw him way more, like...
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him all the time. Not even his movies, but just his face. Because if he's not in the movie with The Rock, it's always some random comedy movie like Night Watch or School's Out or... What's that with Jailbird with Will Ferrell? It's just there's just another Kevin Hart movie, you know.
But wasn't that all like 5 years ago? That was all like 5 years ago.
No, some of those were only like 2-3 years ago. Like I think School's Out was like 2-3 years ago. Or was that Night Watch?
Maybe I'm
one
wrong.
of them with Tiffany Haddish. Was
Maybe
like
it's because I watched DC Super Pets after it came out, but to me it feels like I've seen The Rock way more recently than I've seen Kevin Hart in a movie.
Well,
I saw Black Adam. Maybe that's why.
I intentionally avoid a lot of the Kevin Hart and Rock films, so I am not a really good person to ask either.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen both of them a lot. Just
Yeah.
all the time. Like, Hollywood loves them. And they have great chemistry, but, like, I'm tired.
I'm tired. No, fair enough. But anyway, like, this is an animated movie, so it was kind of slightly different, and I enjoyed it. Like, I thought The Rock did a good job as this sort of, like, stern Crypto the Superdog, and Kevin Hart was a comedic character. They made Ace the Bat Hound, like, that's usually Batman's dog. They made him this sort of more comedic version of Ace the Bat Hound, and Kevin Hart...
they made him Kevin Hart. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, they actually did a good job. Yes, it sounded like just Kevin Hart and The Rock because that's what they wanted it to sound like. But Kevin Hart had more of an edge to him. He was more like sort of this dog with like this outer, like, how do I say it? He was this like sort of dog that was like at the pound that had more of a sort of harder exterior because he was a dog in the pound, basically. And so he was sort of more hesitant to make friends and stuff like that because he lived a harder life than Crypto, basically. And I was like, wow, you know, they actually put a little bit more thought into it than you might think initially, is what I'm saying. And then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he was Crypto, and Crypto just kind of had like superpowers and was very like, oh, like, save the day, like da-da-da-da, and didn't really think about, you know, the hard struggles that like the other dogs had to go through and stuff like that because he had such an easy life, you know? Yeah. And so they actually did a good job with that. The movie though, however, overall was like kind of mid. Like it was not great. I'm not telling you to go watch DC Super Pets. Like it was...
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I had no interest before and I still don't know, man.
Yeah, in fact, I think I've like talked too much now about DC Super Pets. It sounds like I'm like such like a gung-ho like DC Super Pets fan. But honestly, no, the movie was kind of mid.
I can tell you're a mega fan.
No, I like like animated movies also when they are like really good. But this one was just okay. It was just okay. But I mean, they do have the Justice League in the movie, and it was an interesting rendition of the Justice League.
The entire Justice League?
Yeah, they have the entire Justice League. Like,
no way.
But they look really different than they usually do. You should Google a picture and see what you think.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Super Pets Justice League. Let's see here. I'm curious. Images. Oh. What is... Oh.
Interesting looking?
Wait, why does Cyborg have an afro?
I know.
Oh, that's good. That's good. At first I was like, it's kind of good. Ew, Flash is like... It's like a gradient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Aquaman black?
I don't know. Like, I couldn't really tell. Like, maybe...
Bro, this is like the most PC Justice League I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was actually kind of cool,
Green Lantern has colored hair.
What?
Green Lantern has colored hair.
Yeah, I assume that's supposed to be like Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. That was my assumption. Yeah.
I like this team.
No, same. I thought it was a cool rendition of the Justice League. And it was... I've never seen a Justice League quite like it.
Wonder Woman looks fine, bro.
Are you hitting on the animated Wonder Woman from DC Super Pets right now?
look. You know, some animators, the animators know this. Some of them go out of the park when it comes to, like, making really attractive characters. Like, all of Pixar know exactly what they're doing. So, you know, it is what it is.
That's funny. Yeah, anyway, I feel like I've dedicated enough time to DC Super Pets. So yeah, I watched that on the plane. It was mildly enjoyable, but I literally paused it halfway through because I was like, this is not that interesting. But the second half is more interesting than the first half, and Lex Luthor's in it too, and that's fun. But yeah, so then, you know, I got home and I came home early to see my brother Jay's show and performance in our high school's sort of theater production and of the Twilight Zone, and it was awesome. It was very cool.
Twilight Zone's a banger, bro.
They had different episodes each night.
Yeah, what episodes did you see then?
There were 6 different episodes, and I went both nights, so I saw all 6 episodes.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever watched The Twilight Zone?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. There was like a few like basically like alien themed episodes, which were really interesting. And
they have a couple of those.
Yeah, and then there were 2 alien themed episodes. There was one sort of about I think it's called like Beauty's in the Eye of the Beholder or something, and it's about these like sort of like the Twilight Zone's kind of all about like, you know, like perception and like how like if you look at something through a different lens it might be different. So like this woman has this like awfully ugly face, and then like it turns out that she actually has like a normal face as we know it, and everybody else in the universe looks kind of like an alien or something, kind of. So they're talking the whole episode about how she's so hideous and you can't see their faces. But then they take her bandage off and she looks normal. You're like, what? And then they show everybody else's faces and they look like hideous. And you're like, oh. Like... So
beauty is to the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. And then there was this other one about like... kind of like Toy Story before Toy Story was made. And it was like they were a bunch of toys, but they didn't know it yet. And they were like in this like... they were like in this like trash can, like, but they didn't know this. We just like, they're like, it was like a, I think it was called like the Major and this like ballerina and like this like clown, and they were all like together and they're like, why are we here? How do we get here? Like very existential. It reminds me of this children's book that my dad read to me growing up called like Pink and Yellow, and they're like very like existential, like why are we here? How do we get here? And then they're trying to escape. The Major like is really like pressed on like escaping and leaving. And then he gets out, and then they cut to like this like other thing, and it's these two people like, hey, I found your toy like Major General in the snow. Like, is this yours? She's like, oh yeah, there's not that many toys that have been donated for the like orphans, but yeah, he's one of them. Thank you. So then she puts him back in the donation bin, and then the Major like falls back into the world with all the other people. So they were toys the whole time.
Oh, that's kind of hard.
That was cool. And then there was this one, and it was like this girl was like, she had like telekinetic powers. Oh my god, it actually reminds me of this movie called The Bad Seed. Do you remember The Bad Seed? We had to watch it in high school.
Is it this one about this kid that was a really bad kid?
Yes.
I think I have seen it.
We watched it in Liz film.
Oh, that one. The girl that was the bad seed.
Yes, exactly. It was kind of like
I saw that one, and I saw that Bad Omen one with Macaulay Culkin as well.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if I saw the Macaulay Culkin one. That's interesting.
That was pretty good. That was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one was like, so the girl was like evil, but she had like superpowers. She could like think something basically, and she could like kill you like instantly. And then like so everybody was super nice to her because like she could make the crops get destroyed and she could like kill people. So everybody had to be
do horrible things.
Yes. And it was really fun because like it was like, so Jay's character, it was like her birthday. No, sorry, it was his birthday. And he just wanted basically to like listen to his new like record for his birthday. But the little girl like wanted to like play this like song like and listen to it on piano. And so Jay's character just lost it and starts like yelling at the little girl and chewing out this little girl like you dirty little I don't remember what he said, but he's like, you dirty little mind, like you're evil, like da 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 da. And the girl just getting like more angry and angry. And she eventually just like kills him. And
jeez.
Yeah, and so Jay's character died, and then like this like severed head popped up like as like Jay's head, and it was awesome. It was very cool. And Jay was good because Jay was great because like this like
I'm sorry, wait, did you say a severed head?
Yeah, they had like a severed head that had like Jay's haircut. It was so funny. It was like,
yo, what kind of show is this?
That's what I posted on my Instagram story. If you saw it, it's Jay
really?
with his own severed head.
It.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it right now.
Yeah, it's Jay with his own severed head, which was kind of awesome, and he has it like.
Wait, he has it on him, his own severed head.
I don't think they needed the severed head for.
Oh my god, that's so unsettling.
I know.
Ew.
Right? Yeah.
Ew. That's so gross.
It was awesome too because like Jay's character was like getting drunk and stuff, and then Jay's like sang and stuff like that. It was really awesome to watch. It was really fun.
Jay was singing, okay. Singer
Jay
Jay
was singing. It was the play, not the musical yet, but Jay was already singing.
I was gonna say, like, what? So is there a chance that he might do the musical?
I think he might. I hope so. It'll be a good time. So that's for the spring to decide. But I think it's a possibility. And
right, I'm excited.
Yeah, so it was really fun. It was really cool, and it reminded me, oh wow, the Twilight Zone has some really interesting, cool messages that are like. There was also one that was like because basically, I told you there's like 2 different shows each night, like 3 episodes each night. The first night also had one that was like it was basically sort of like a mass hysteria type thing. It was like they knew there was like like an imposter amongst them, kind of, and they had to like kind of like find out like who it was, but then it sort of ended up just driving everyone like kind of crazy, and they ended up like killing somebody that like wasn't the imposter and stuff like that. That was cool too. So yeah, it was really fun to watch. Really nice to see a lot of like familiar faces from WJ and from, you know, throughout the years. And yeah, it was cool. Jacob joined me to the show the second night.
I was just gonna say, it's funny you said throughout the years, because that's a song that me and Jacob did together.
Yeah, I love that song. That's like one of my favorite songs. So
it's a banger. But you saw the Lou himself?
Yeah, he pulled up to Jay's show.
Hard.
It was nice, and yeah, the neighbors were all there, all that stuff. So it was very cool. And now I'm just chilling. Sort of. I feel like I had something to do in the next few days, but I can't remember what it is.
It's probably coming up.
Yeah,
we got more
I don't
things.
remember.
Holiday season, you know, it's just all like ticking. It's all a ticking clock to like Christmas, basically.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, got a few things to do, you know. But yeah, it was nice. I'm relaxing, and it's nice to be back home. It's chill. It feels kind of cozy, you know. This is the longest I've ever been away from home. I didn't realize until my dad mentioned it. But I'm like, you're right. Like for college, I was like 45 minutes away, so I could come home like at least, you know, like once in a while. And but I think this was like 4 months, so I think this is the record for the longest I've been away from home. And like my house was like changed. I was like, whoa, my house is different.
Yeah, bro, that's how it goes. I remember this one period. I think the longest I've been away from home is 9 months.
Wow, yeah,
because I skipped one of the breaks because I was like, it wasn't feasible, and I wanted to do stuff here. So I was away for 9 months and came back, and I felt like everything was different. Like my younger brother was taller.
Yeah.
My mom started adding things to the house and making it like look different and everything. That's just how it happens. Like you're skipping every time like you leave somewhere. There's gonna be like X amount of time that you're just not there for.
Yeah.
Like Interstellar. You know how like the guy like goes on the planet and then like so much time goes by that he like misses.
Right.
That's basically what it feels like, but since like
Exactly.
at least for me, because I keep going back and forth from like going to like LA and then going back to Maryland, like I lose time from both places now.
Yes.
Where it's like if I'm in Maryland for too long, there's so much happening in Los Angeles that I'm just not seeing, and then if I'm in LA for too long, there's so much in Maryland that I'm just not seeing. And
it's
like,
crazy. It's so weird. Exactly. And like I come back and like the furniture's different, and I'm like, bro, what is going on? You know, but. It'd be like that. That would happen in college too.
Like
Because I think the longest I missed, like I was not home in college, was during COVID, because I missed like a few months or something because I wasn't trying to like expose anybody. But this was even longer than that, so it was interesting.
There's this YouTube video made by, I think it's called Kyrgyzstan or something like that. They make these like little animations. They just talk about all these like existential kind of topics. Shout out to that YouTube channel. But they statistically like put all these like numbers on like your life, basically. Like what does your life look like? And basically the most time you're ever going to spend with your parents was 18 and down. So now that you're past that age, like this is the least amount of time you're going to be like home, basically.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very strange feeling. But it's not a bad one. It's kind of nice. It's kind of, I think I realized like that it kind of feels like December and the holidays is like a reunion for like everybody that ever like went away to come back for the holidays, at least, you know. And I wouldn't want to miss out on that. I kind of like that there's always like, no matter where you go, you can always go back home and see the homies from the olden day if you want to, you know. And some people don't want to, some people don't like it, but I like it.
Some people didn't have their olden days, and I understand and respect that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just weird that, like, those olden days, like, that's most of my life for me right now. Like, those olden days.
What do you mean?
Like, just think about the timeline, right? I've only left, like, my mom's house maybe, like, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But most of that before then was just being in Maryland all the time.
Yeah.
So most of the life that I know of is considered the olden days of just being in Maryland and just like growing up and then going to school every day and then like hanging out with people and then drama and then like, oh my God, this person kissed who? That's my whole life basically.
You're saying you've lived way more of the olden days than the new days, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. So it feels very weird to think of like that as like the past when that's like all I've ever known.
Exactly. You know what I mean? No, I agree. And like for me now it's like yeah, exactly. I mean, we already like
I guess the past is always going to be, the past is always going to be all you've ever known, but it feels weird because especially when you move to a different place, it's like there's now a physical location tied to a certain part of your life.
A reset. Right. Whereas before, like we had, and I'm sure people that do drastic moves when they're young, they like Jacob or something, like they also have these sort of like resets in their mind, like, okay, like, this state before, like, and then this state. But like for me, it's like, I've lived in Maryland my whole life, so it's like I have like, elementary school and then middle school and then high school. Like those are our sort of ways of categorizing it before, right? Because when you're in the same place all the time, you just are going to categorize it by like that's your big change.
Yeah, you categorize your life by school.
Yeah, and then and then it's college, and I moved for college and I lived in Baltimore, and so I did that for 4 years, and that's also its own section, and that was probably the biggest change up. But now the biggest change up is 100% LA because it's literally all the way across the country. And it's only been a few months, but it's definitely like the most drastic change. Because I mean, even at UMBC,
it's literally as far as you can get.
Yeah, and even at UMBC, I mean, you can debate it because in some ways, LA is almost closer to home than UMBC was because I got you there.
What?
Well, I got you there. You're my roommate.
I guess that's true.
Like, think about it. Like, we've been hanging out like almost every day for like so much of our lives because we see each other at school. True. And when I was at UMBC, that's the only time I didn't talk to you almost every day.
Yeah.
And we still talked a lot over FaceTime and stuff, but like that's
not nearly as much as like literally living together.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's almost like you're more of a slice of home than my UMBC homies because my UMBC homies aren't from Rockville. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's kind of like that's so weird.
But now my UMBC homies are in they're in Maryland. So like Harry, Will, all them, they feel like they're also a slice of home because they're from Maryland. So like they're actually even what used to be like they were the sort of new section of life that wasn't a slice of home. Now they are a slice of home. Like your past becomes like a slice of home no matter where you go.
So weird.
Yeah. So like I'm pretty sure if we end up even like switching apartments or something, like then our apartment in LA will become a slice of home to us. And then, because I'm sure you like you said, you feel at home in LA. Like the more time you spend somewhere, the more it feels like home. So UMBC, in my mind, feels like home. But that's not something college is not someplace you can really go back and just like live at again. You can go back and live in Rockville again. You can't go back and live at UMBC.
You can try to go off campus, I guess, and try to slide on campus. Yeah, but you can't really go back to that type of home. That's
and that's okay.
It's a lifetime thing.
It's beautiful that there are those sort of those moments in time that are sort of more you can only get them at that certain time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
But what's been going on in LA since I've been gone? I saw some fun, wholesome Christmas activities going on.
Yeah, no, so literally the day you left, you didn't even tell me you were gone. There was no like.
Actually,
text.
I did. I came into your room, and I said, "Can I grab my microphone?" And you were asleep still, and it was like. And you're like, yeah, you were like really asleep. So I think I said bye, but I don't even think you heard me.
Bro, I have zero memory.
Yeah, because I had to get my mic.
Did you really?
I was like, yeah, I had to get my mic. So I was like, Sean, can I come in? And you're like, and I like came in and I'm like, okay, bye. And then you just like didn't say anything because you were asleep.
Bro, I was unconscious because like I have zero recollection of that. All I remember is going to sleep and like saying like goodbye and not goodbye, but like, or have fun animating and like I thought I was gonna see you when I wake up. Yeah. Then I woke up and I was like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's kind of late. Like Kevin, I thought you were gonna miss your flight or something like that. So I was like, I'll wait and see if like he's already getting ready. And then like 10, it became like 10:10 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like Kevin must have like missed his flight or something. So let me go like, I'm like, Kevin, and like you didn't answer. I was like, no way he left already. Yeah. And then like I open the door and you're gone. Just vanish. Poof. Out of here. Yeah. Capiche. I was like, hold on. This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I check to see like if you like took all your stuff, and like I see like you kind of like wrapped everything up, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess Kevin's gone. But luckily I had made pre-plans to already sleep over at Lauren's place, so that I wouldn't have to feel like my first night without you is like I'm like alone, you know what I mean? I went over to Lauren's place. We kicked it for a little bit. I go on my runs, you know, as I normally do. Mm-hmm. So I went on like my run back in Burbank, which I haven't done in a long time. It was kind of refreshing.
That used to be your block. That used to be your spot.
Right. I used to live in Burbank, and that's where I did like all of my runs, and that's actually where I did a lot of like the vlogging. Like right after a run, I would do like a vlog or something, or talk about a topic, and that's when that really heated Israel-Palestine topic came up on my Instagram.
I remember that on your Instagram.
Yeah, it was a good era. I was just walking around like Burbank, just trying to like respond to everybody and be like, yeah, like let's have a civil discussion about this, and like open up the conversation.
Right.
But yeah, so that run was really nice. I came back, and then we kicked it for a little bit, and then we went to go, I think we went to go read. And like, I didn't realize this, but you really do have to like set time out of your day to read.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like, most of the time that I actually end up reading is when it's really late at night and nobody else is awake. So I'm like, I'm tired of scrolling on my phone, so let me read instead. And like, it's really nice when I do. But for some reason, it's so difficult to like motivate yourself, or at least to motivate myself to like read. Even though I
have the same issue. Like, I have my book literally at my nightstand. Yeah. So it's like, all right, whenever I want to get up or I'm like kind of just like scrolling my phone or something, I'll just pick up the book and read it. Yes. But then I never do that. Like, I never, it's not ingrained in my brain enough to be like, all right, in this moment of peace and quiet, let me go grab a book.
Right.
So I have to make the mental conscious effort to schedule it in and be like, all right, today for 1 hour at this particular time, I'm going to read this book, get X amount of pages in, and then like, you know, do whatever from there. But I have to actually make the effort to read.
What book did you read? I saw, it looked wholesome. It was like 5 of you guys. It was like the squad, like all reading together. It was so wholesome.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's
not? It was just me and Lauren the first, because I slept over, and then we had a group the next day.
Oh, okay. So
I was with Lauren alone, and we were in, there was like this Burbank park that we went to. It was really nice, but it got really chilly. But
nice.
I've been reading this book. It is called
I've seen that one.
The Film Director's Intuition, Script Analysis and Rehearsal Techniques by Judith Weston.
Yeah, do you recommend for anybody? Any aspiring director?
I haven't finished it yet, so I'd rather finish it before I'd recommend it. But I will say, you know, about 100 pages in, a little over 100 pages in, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend it for the director that like has no idea how to work with actors and like what the actual job of a director is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some film directors, they do it for the shots. Like they want to make everything visually, you know, like the freaking who's the director of Blaze Runner? Is it Ridley Scott?
Oh, it's a Richard Donner.
It's no way it's Richard Donner. Is it Richard Donner?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's like a version of Blade Runner called the Donner Cut because he is the director.
Blade Runner. I think it's Ridley Scott.
You're talking about the original one, right?
Yeah. The original Blade Runner is directed by Ridley Scott.
Wait, what? I swear to God, there's something called Blade Runner, the Donner Cut. Am I tripping?
I think you're thinking of Superman, the Donner Cut.
Oh, I actually might be mixing it up. Is that right?
Yes, there's a Superman 2, the Donner Cut, because he got fired like halfway through production.
I must be mixing it up because I had to watch a like extended cut of Blade Runner for one of my film classes, like, and it must be the Scott cut, but it wasn't called that. It was called like. Maybe it was called the director's cut, and I'm just mixing it up with the Superman thing. But I had to watch it, and it had just like a super long, like unicorn sequence that was added into it.
Yeah, the infamous unicorn sequence.
And that's in his cut, his like director's cut or whatever. And
yeah,
I liked it. I liked the movie, but I thought the unicorn sequence was just completely unnecessary.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Ridley Scott, and given Blade Runner is actually really good, and thematically it's strong, but there's stories of Harrison Ford being like, yeah, he wouldn't really give me like any direction. I would just kind of just go there and just like act. Like he wouldn't. Ridley Scott is not an actor's director. He really focuses on like the visuals and the aesthetics and like the style. Yeah. Like he was very focused on the look of the film, and it's an iconic look. But like, I don't know. I think it's also very important as a director to know how to work with your actors. Right?
Yes.
And this book is really good at telling you that you're not just micromanaging people. You're kind of allowing other people's art to grow. All you're doing is guiding.
Right.
Right? Directing is not micromanaging, it's just guiding. And I think it's really good at telling you like how to follow the guidance way of being a director versus being the micromanagement way of being like, oh, can you say a line like this? Or, oh, can you smile more? Or like dial it down. Here's a one line that like, I don't remember what film it is. I honestly don't want to call out the director just in case they're embarrassed about it. Right. But apparently there was this director that told their actor, hey, this is a really good, like emotional, like point that you're at, but can you dial it back 8%?
Yeah.
And the actor was like, bro, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, Sean, it's funny you say that because that reminds me of when we're doing like music. And like I'll do a take and you're like, yeah, that was good, but can you like dial back this part and dial back this part? I'm like, remember sometimes I'm just like, Sean, if you tell me to dial back too much, I'll just like be too stuck in the thought of dialing it back.
No,
and I just have to like,
it's not a good way to direct.
I'm like, give me like one thing to like focus on, I'll try. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you're focused on too much, like as like a performer or whatever, you know how it is. Like if I say, oh, do it like this, it's like the same thing when I directed you to do like the like voiceover. Like it's like I'm like, oh, can you do it just like this, just like that? A lot of times when I noticed that I gave people like too many corrections, the second take wasn't as good as the first take because they're like trying too hard to fix it in certain aspects, you know.
Exactly. The book is it talks a lot about how your goal isn't to have someone be laser focused in what they're saying. The goal is to be honest about what they're saying.
Right.
And honesty is unconscious.
Yeah.
It's not a conscious thing. Yeah. So
acting is a very like spiritual thing. It's hard to like say it like this if they don't understand why the character would say it like that. It's like very difficult to say it like that, you know.
Yeah, no, acting is living in that particular moment. So the character isn't thinking, "Oh, I should say it particularly like this," unless that is a character choice.
Right.
But normally you're not going to have a character that thinks like that. So put yourself in the character, you really have to do everything unconsciously.
Right, and I think like even with like, you know, theater directors sometimes when they're like, "Ooh, say it like this," I'm like, okay, I can say it like that, but I need to find like a reason that my character wants to say it like that. Like I need to find a reason. Like, is my character getting angrier? That's why it's gonna be louder. Like I can't just have this calm line and say it really loudly for no reason. Like, you know, you need to like sort of find like the sort of like reason why your character's like acting like that. So you can take what the director gives you and be like, yes, I will say it like that, but I need like a conscious reason. I can't just like have my character saying it like that for no reason.
Yeah, the book says that too, that like, all right, like, because I think this book is meant for directors and it's also meant for actors.
Yeah.
Because it says like, all right, if you're an actor and you get some really bad direction or result direction, it's up to you as a professional to ignore it and then try to find a more honest and motivated way to do that same direction.
Exactly. Right, exactly. Like, you can't ignore direction because especially with film, like you need to provide the director with what the director needs, which I think a lot of actors don't understand. At the same time, the actor needs to find a way to like deliver what the director wants believably, and so it's sort of like you got to work together. It's really like a dual effort.
It really is a group thing, and as a director, you should allow your actors to kind of breathe and feel comfortable like at all times. Because, yeah, on one end, the director has a vision, right? They're looking at the whole story as a whole. So they need to everything to kind of dial in a particular way so that we can land in a particular way.
Yeah.
But the actor needs to live in the moment and then really treat each moment as like it's happening right now.
Yeah.
So you need to blend those two different perspectives together of like, you know, the director sees the whole story, the actor sees the character in the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like this is the most that we've like talked about like the actual art of like filmmaking on the podcast so far. It was really I know
we should do it more often. We should do it more often.
It just doesn't usually come
very,
up. Well, we talk about like films and how well films are made, but we haven't talked about just like the process like this before.
The actual art and the craft. I mean, we've been a bit preoccupied with a lot of other things. You know, life comes up, but
yeah, for sure.
This can be that episode. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, but yeah, I just gained a lot of that knowledge just from this book, and that, you know, instead of following, because this book isn't just about your relationship from directors to actors and making a safe space for them. It's also about how a director needs to follow their intuition, rather than just what they think is right.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like sometimes you're gonna have to break. Right. What is it? Know the rules to be able to break them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like if you're gonna break, you know, the 180-degree rule, you have to have a very good reason for it. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it's like in film school, right? They teach you a very particular set of laws and how to like do a film. Yeah. And that's okay. That's what a school is kind of designed for. I don't know how doing a school off of an art is very challenging in itself. So they have to grade you off of something, right?
Yeah.
And film school is great because it shows you a lot of different skills and things for you to add to your arsenal.
Right.
That being said, you need to also be able to say, all right, this is what they taught me so that I know how to do it. But I need to be able to do something because intuitively I feel it. Not because a teacher told me to.
Some of the most eerie effects come from breaking particular rules. Like,
exactly, yeah.
You know, like looking right into the camera. Usually an actor is not supposed to look right into the camera, but maybe if you have a psycho killer or something and you want them to slowly glare into the camera in like one shot, like it could make you feel really off. You're like, what the fuck? That didn't happen before. And that's why it is so eerie. And although that's not usually expected from an actor, it makes the shot way better, you know? Although that's not like, you know, obviously that's like a very obvious like character choice. But like another thing, like something they say, again, like back to like the 180-degree rule, never to say in film, or never to do in film is like to break that, you know, how you have basically like a character on the right and talking to a character on the left, basically. Like if you're cutting back and forth between shots. Now, it would look really weird if the character was on the right side of the screen and then you cut so the other character is on the right side of the screen as well. Because then there would just be empty space on the left side of the screen in both shots in a conversation, which looks weird. But could you use that for some eerie effect or something?
We just saw a movie that broke like every composition rule like known to man.
What movie are you talking about?
Bones and All.
Oh my gosh, that movie was whack. That movie was so whack.
I don't have the patience nor the time to even want to go into that film. Yeah. But that particular director, his style is having awkward compositions. Like that's his thing. If you've seen the movie Call Me by Your Name, I believe,
I have not
Timothy
seen it yet,
Chalamet.
but I think it's on like Netflix now or something.
Right, same director, and like he has that really quirky. I wouldn't say quirky, but it's an off-kilter style. It's off-putting because usually a film doesn't look like that. And you could say that he's breaking the rule for this particular reason. But honestly, I actually think he just does it because intuitively that's how he feels like his stories look.
Yeah.
Right? He's following his senses.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know about him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, the another one is like, you know, usually they say do not center a character. But like but when you have a creepy little girl like that's in, you know, like the like an outfit from like The Ring, like she's in like a white dress with like black hair and you need her to be spooky, you're going to have her walking center shot cuz it's going to be creepy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So there's like that stuff. And you see characters walking center. A lot of times directors
any of those Wes Anderson movies, everything is like perfectly lined
like
up.
Centered. Yeah, exactly. There's this director that likes everything imperfect, so everything off center, and that's actually the rule that people typically follow is the what's it called, like the golden spiral or some shit. What's it called? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know.
The golden ratio.
The golden ratio.
There's like and how it's supposed to be like nothing's really in the center. But then there's people that just like everything like very symmetrical. I feel like those are the directors that were, maybe math majors in another life. They just liked everything.
And that's honestly like those are people's like styles, you know? Like
a lot of people
even
like
in taking photos, I like photos that are more so centered or have some kind of feeling or object that's centered. Yeah. Whereas Lauren, she actually likes things off-centered. Like that's the style that speaks to her. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just what her intuition is telling her to go towards. And it creates a whole style for herself, and it creates a style for me. So.
It's very cool. No, I like how everybody has their individual styles and their individual, just like everybody has you're right. Like everybody takes photos with their camera, and everybody has an intuition when you're asked to take a photo of a group or whatever. Everybody has an intuition. Do I put this center? Do I put this off center? Like just at like a base level. Like we've all done that, right? And it's kind of cool that everybody does have these little like these instincts just to do that. And I wish I could like deeply dive into like individual people's like instincts like that. Like I wish I could just have like, but you don't really get that when they start sort of like putting their art out there. Like But yeah, some people really do apply it to like social media and Instagram, and it's fun to like when people do that. It's fun when people.
Everyone sees different patterns when they make any type of art, you know.
Yeah.
So and this book really goes into like just following that intuition, because again, film school isn't designed that way. It's not designed for you to actually explore your own style. It's designed for you to learn all these different tools,
right? And
to do that, they have to give you the most generic, like everyone can do it path, so that you all learn the same tools at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's really up to the person. Like if you're going to do film school, you need to have a strong enough will to be like, all right, I respect everything that I'm learning, and I'm going to do it just so that I can have the ability to do it. But then I will always follow myself.
Exactly.
And what I feel is right for the story or the characters or the this or the that.
Learn the rules so you can break them. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Learn the rules so you can just break them.
Oh, actually, wait. I wanted to say really quick about speaking of Blade Runner. It's just funny you mentioned that because like AC and Ashley are gonna like do like a D&D like Blade Runner theme.
Wait, that's so, oh my god, that's so cool.
And they were just trying to watch this, like there's a new Blade Runner like TV show, like like it's like an animated thing, and it's like Blade Runner. It's called Blade Runner Black Lotus. But the animation looks kind of funky. It looks kind of like a video game. So I couldn't really I wasn't really vibing with the animation style. But but maybe the story's good. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I just thought about that because it seems such a random thing that you just happened to bring up. They were literally trying to watch it last night. So I thought that was a weird coincidence. But he's trying to study up on the world, AC is, because he wants to like be able to and like get into the vibe of it for the D&D campaign and stuff like that. So
wait, I want to join in. Have they started yet?
I don't know. I can ask them more about it. I'll ask them more about it.
I kind of want to join in, bro. Blade Runner, that world is so fucking.
If it's like a month long, if it's like a short one, maybe we could join. I don't know if it's gonna be like a months long one.
Or they could just kill off my character if it really has to be done.
I'll ask. I'll ask. Maybe I'll try to join too if you want to join. Maybe we could get in there. That could be fun. You're probably gonna come over once a week anyway for the podcast, so maybe we could do it.
Regardless, I'll be over. So we should get together and do it. Oh my god, a Blade Runner D&D sounds so lit.
Yeah.
Sounds so lit.
Okay, I'll ask about it. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, sure, I'll ask about it.
Ask for me, please.
But yeah, so anyway, you read with Lauren.
I was reading with Lauren in the park. It was really nice. After that, we try to hit up Starbucks to do like a writing session.
Nice.
But for some reason, like they said that they close at 10. And it was already like 9-ish or something like that. Okay. So we're like, all right, we'll get an hour or like 30 minutes of writing and then we'll dip, right?
Yeah.
We go in, we got our drinks, we got croissants because croissants are crack to the soul. But we got our stuff and we sit down and we're literally about to get started. And then the dude walks into the lobby. It's like 9:15 by now. And he's like, all right, we're going to have to close up because we're closing the lobby, so get out of here. I'm like, I mean, given I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it as rude.
Yeah, right.
But we walked down. We're like, bro, what the heck? You still had like 45 minutes before you closed.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like they closed intentionally just because they didn't want to deal with people or something. Just to wrap it up early. They didn't want to like clean up after everybody, which is fine. But also, it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be open. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
We just went back to her place, and we were doing like this writing session where she was pretty much touching up her script for this really interesting sci-fi romance. And also on my sci-fi bag, I've been daydreaming about this sci-fi adventure, and I finally came around to like actually like writing stuff, like writing out scenes that I want to do and everything, and like images that I have in my head.
Cool.
So yeah, that was really, really fun. And like just as like a filmmaker, I think you should. I'm going to try and incorporate writing sessions more often because as a storyteller, you should be telling stories.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Even if it's bad or good or whatever, I just think, like, you should always at least practice telling a story that you're interested in.
It's easy to get caught up in writer's block, like, forever and just never write. But sometimes it's nice just to, even if it's at the end of the night, just get like some writing out of your system. Even if it's just like a journal entry, just to like refresh your writing ability and just keep writing, because that's the one thing you can do as a writer.
It's a skill, and as a storyteller, you need to have that skill. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely writing more. I think also because I haven't been writing a lot because I've been working on like my album that's coming out. I've been like laser focused in doing that. So, but anyway, I'll get to that later. We after that it was already like really late in the night. We started watching some like cartoons that we were interested in.
Ooh, like what?
So I showed Lauren Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
I know you love that show.
I don't know if anyone in the world knows this show. No one has seen it. Kayla apparently has seen it before.
I remember seeing like one episode. I remember like what they look like, kinda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I told you this because I remember asking you. I was like, "Wait, are they like little baby robot monkey things?" And you're like, "Yeah,
they are little. There are little monkeys. Yeah, we have to watch an episode together too."
Yeah.
But I showed it to her, and like there was something so good to my soul to know that now I'm not the only person that has seen this show, because I have not heard a single soul say they know that this show exists.
It's frustrating now, like, when you don't have anybody to talk to about it.
Yeah, it's just like this show means so much to me, and no one else understands that.
Yeah.
So, but now apparently Kayla has seen it before, so she's with me, and now I showed it to Lauren. She said she's gonna continue watching it, so
good.
That's really dope too. And then she showed me Amphibia, which is a show on Disney Plus.
I've seen a few episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Ashley and Jay watched it all.
I've only seen the first half of that because they do like 2 episodes. They did like 2 stories in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen the first story in the first episode, and it was like it was a good start, and I can tell that there's like a lot of lore here that they're trying to like build up towards. So I'm gonna continue watching that as well. And I think they're just about the same amount of episodes too.
I think they're the creators of Gravity Falls, Lauren said, or something.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The style feels very similar.
Yeah, and I love Gravity
comedy.
Falls. As I said, last episode, I watched a few episodes when we got back from Oregon because I was like feeling the vibes. Yeah. That's awesome though. That sounds like a nice night.
Yeah, it was really nice. So I think we're gonna watch that over the break and then come back and like talk about our shows together.
Yeah.
Then after that we woke up, had like a little breakfast thing. So apparently like Lauren has a donut maker and then Arena has a waffle maker. So they just brought both of those to Lauren's place, and they like made a whole breakfast thingy with like donuts and waffles. And
awesome.
And then they got this maple syrup from Canada from our trip. So I got to try some of that Canadian syrup.
Yeah.
Homie, that shit is luscious. It is creamy. And it's juicy too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel like American syrup is too thick.
Dude, you know
what? Theirs is like it's like tequila. It's
you
nice.
know what was also fire? Canadian ketchup.
What?
Yeah, not only is they're so proud of their ketchup. Every like ketchup in Canada has like a little like made in Canada sticker, and also they make the ketchup chips in Canada. Remember I told you about the ketchup chips?
I've heard about these.
They might not be everybody's cup of tea, but they're so fire. And I brought some back when I went to Toronto, and Jay was like addicted to the ketchup chips. He like destroyed them.
Really?
Yeah, and they were really good.
I want to try these.
They're really good. You can get them in like Upper Pennsylvania too, like Pittsburgh and stuff.
Next time I go to Erie or
to
something,
Lauren.
I'll try to grab more of that.
Yeah, and obviously there's Tim Hortons up there and stuff like that, which is awesome as well.
Yeah, Timmy Hortons is too good to only be in Canada. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's really not fair.
Yeah, well, that sounds like an awesome time. And then you went, or you didn't, and then that's when you did another reading session?
Okay, so the group, yeah, we did another reading session. So I kept reading the same book, obviously. You know, I try to get these pages in. I think Lauren was still reading Twilight, and then Reina and Rodrigo were reading these other books. Something about, one of them was called Bones, and the other one was called, like, Vengeance or Blood or, like, Revenge or something. I've never seen that series before.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember seeing Rodrigo on Instagram with the Bones book, and I'm like, is that the Bones and All book?
Yeah, hopefully not, bro. That movie, oh my god. Anyway, and then I think Kevin was reading Dune, so we were all kind of like reading our books together. It was really nice and cozy.
Yeah, it looked wholesome.
Yeah, and then after that, they wanted to go ice skating, but I don't want to go in another rant. I feel like I should save one rant per episode, but
just let them know how you feel. Just let them know how you feel.
I can't stand ice skating, bro. I can't do it. It's not for me. I don't want it. I wish I could love it the way other people love it. Like, I have that craving of want to, like, have that feeling, but I just don't. It's cold. You slip around everywhere. Your ankles start hurting by the end of the day. It's just, no. I've never had fun ice skating. I've gone 3 times, and I will never go again.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan. I can't do it.
Fair enough, man. I like ice skating. I want to try roller skating.
See, that's what I want to try. I would love to go like rollerblading and like doing like, you know, like those 70s dances when they're like in like a roller skate rink or something.
Yeah,
they're like dancing together in like a line. Like, I want to do that.
Let's find a roller skating place and do that.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they wanted to go ice skating. I was like, I'll come with you guys just to see you guys get on the ice. But after that, I'm going home. Screw y'all. I'm not doing ice skating.
Fair enough.
And they really pressed me a couple times. They really were like, are you sure you don't want to like at least No. Nope.
Yeah.
Ice skating is one of those things where I have genuinely like made up my mind on and am not willing to change on it.
Fair enough. I don't blame you. I mean, hey, I like ice skating, but if you don't want to do it, if you tried it already, you know, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I know, and it's a really good date idea. So like, I wish I could use that as like my arsenal of like things that I could take people on dates on, but it's not. I'll
try
never
roller
go
skating
and I'll
instead.
never do it.
Yeah, do roller skating.
Right, exactly. Now I'll just do that instead because that I am still curious on doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, I just went home and I locked in. So for the last like 36 hours, music wise, like everything is all about finishing the album that I've been working on, my solo project.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs in there. I have 7 of them like done. Like,
awesome.
Like pretty much just needs to be mastered and like they're ready to go. And then there's a couple more songs in there that I'm still like, all right, this needs a touch up or like this needs a lot of work in the mix or whatever. But everything's recorded.
Yeah.
Well, almost everything is recorded. I actually got to talk to you about that. There's some more some more vocal work that I'm gonna need.
One more voice or something. One more voice or something like that.
Yeah, one more voice or 2 or 3. But
do you want to give?
Yeah, it's almost done.
Do you want to drop a little tease for anybody who made it to the end of the episode?
I don't know, man. It's still early on. I want to make sure, because I got to make sure I get everyone's approval first before I release anything, because I would hate it to show something and then someone's like, because I do a lot of collaboration on this album.
Hey, fair enough.
It's like, you know, they don't want to show it yet.
I understand. I didn't mean leak it. I just meant a little tease, like a title or something.
Oh, should I give the title? I think I might have accidentally released the title of the last episode, but
hey, you could talk about it. You could talk about it next episode or something. I'll let
you know what? Let's approach it. You know what I mean? Because I think I really want to do a winter release or like the end of winter release. So we'll work our way up. We'll work our way up to it, but it's coming.
That's enough of a tease. End of winter release.
All right, there you go then. Winter release, hopefully. It might get delayed. That's just what happens in the music business.
Yeah.
But yeah, be expecting it. Be expecting it.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I forgot to mention that because like last episode I was talking about how much I wanted to watch Wednesday, and this episode I can officially say I'm done with Wednesday. I finished the last episode in Maryland. I had one more episode to go when I came back from LA. And I loved it, man. I really did. I really liked
Banger.
it. It is by no means...
Show of the year?
It is by no means a perfect show. It has its flaws. But I just loved every episode. Like, with every episode, I found so much entertainment. And yes, they do take a lot of inspiration from Harry Potter, but I say it's in a good way. Because it's like...
Is it taken or just it happens to be similar?
I would say...
Because there is a difference.
I would say...
I mean?
I would honestly say it's purposefully mirroring...
I see.
certain aspects. Like, everybody's probably seen the dance sequence because it's, like, so famous, and TikTok's really, and Netflix is really taking their they're really trying to up it because they, they want to, like, people to watch the show.
Everyone loves it.
But everybody is watching the show. I mean, actually, I haven't met that many people that have watched it personally, but I was, like, saw some stats, and it's, like, apparently, like one of the biggest shows because a lot of people have the same interest I did in, like, Tim Burton directing, like, The Addams Family. So it's like, I mean, how is that not going to be...
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about it. It was like I haven't heard a lot of people that have seen it themselves either, but I keep hearing, like people talk about it. Like, someone brought it up to me when I was talking about our trip to Seattle. Like, it's definitely getting around. It's definitely getting around.
Yeah. And it was I really enjoyed it. And it's not a perfect show. There are some, like, sort of plot lines that I was less interested in than others. But I didn't, like... Some people, like, I think had more of a problem with them than I did. I kind of liked that it was a bit kind of like... Like, Harry Potter is fun not only for the wizarding adventures, but also some of the little, like, sort of teenage drama that's in it, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like Wednesday. It's like, there is, like, these crazy adventures mixed in with this romance. And some of the romance is, like, kind of silly and kind of like, okay. But at the same time, it's fun some of the time as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, you could argue, like, what is Wednesday Addams doing getting into any romance? But in the Addams Family musical, it's about Wednesday getting into a romance with this, like, sort of, like, mundane guy, too. So that's always been, or at least for a while been, a part of the sort of Addams Family story.
Kind of part of the lore.
Exactly. And I thought they did a good enough job with it. Yeah, the sort of, like, dudes that were the main love interests weren't, like, super interesting as characters, but the actors did good enough, and the vibes of the show overall are just so awesome. Like, Jenna Ortega, I didn't even really know her. I mean, I saw her in You Season 2, but I didn't know that, and she was good in that, but I didn't know that she's, like, a huge star. I didn't understand that. Apparently, she's, like, a huge star already.
She's a huge star.
I mean, it's...
Was she in something already?
Yeah, apparently she's been in a bunch of stuff. Like the other night, like, Jay was like, I can't believe, like, nobody, like... I think he's like, I can't believe nobody, like, knew her or something, like, before this. Or, no... Like, because, like, apparently she's been in a bunch of horror movies and stuff like that. But in You Season 2, she was good. She was just kind of this, like, you know, sort of... neighbor character, and
in what
she was like the daughter of this like neighbor of the main
in what show?
In You, the show You.
In You, that's right. Watching You. Yeah.
But I didn't really like her character. Was fine, like she did a good job, like, but it's not like it's not maybe a role where you're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
Honestly, I think she excels at being Wednesday.
Yeah, you watched some of the episodes.
It's almost as if she's designed. Yeah, I haven't seen any episode in completion, but I would come in every now and then and see parts of episodes, and I think there might not be anybody better for that role.
She did fantastic.
She does an incredible job at being Wednesday.
Yeah,
like she really, like, it almost like it's like a Christian Bale level of, like, becoming a character, because every little micro thing that she did was something that Wednesday would do.
Yeah,
There's never a part where I feel like she broke. And given I haven't seen an episode in completion, but from what I saw, she never breaks character or allows, like, a part of her actual self to shine through the character. It is always Wednesday.
You saw a good chunk. You walked in multiple times during multiple episodes, and, like, she commits fully to the character, and, like, even the dance sequence, as ridiculous as it is, it's actually awesome. And I loved that scene watching it in the movie the show, because she fully committed to being, like, Wednesday during the dance too, and it's absolutely ridiculous, but she kept a straight face, and her, like, sarcastic timing is hilarious. And there are a lot of other characters that I really like as well. I heard a lot of people say that they didn't like a lot of the other characters and they only liked Wednesday, and I disagree. I think, like, some of the characters, like, might be, like, mildly annoying at first just because they're, like, her roommate is, like, they're so... like every character is like very overly dramatized. Like, how do I say it? Overly.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of different
yeah.
movies and go ahead.
I was saying like Wednesday is obviously overly dark. And a lot of the other characters from the beginning are overly, for example, her roommate's overly bubbly. And like, so her roommate kind of comes off as slightly annoying at first. You're like, why is she so overly bubbly? But by the end of the show, you're like, at least I was kind of like, oh, I actually like her roommate. Like, I kind of like the sort of balance they have. And the set design of their bedroom, where it's like half dark, half like bright, was just so cool. I loved it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really dope.
Yeah.
I was going to say that like a lot of movies and TV shows, it usually goes like this. Either the main character is really like boring or really kind of controlled and doesn't really stand out too much. So then the supporting characters are all like wild.
Yeah.
Or the main character is like super interesting and like is very expressive or is very like unique. And so the rest of the characters around her kind of have to, or him, have to be like kind of more subdued.
Yeah.
To balance it out. You know, you can never really have both.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I actually did like the supporting cast of this show. Like I disagree with the concept that she was the only one that was good. She was fantastic, but I feel like the supporting cast was good too. You know, maybe some of the characters weren't as interesting, but overall, like I just want to express that every episode had me like super intrigued, super engaged. It was super fun. The parts that reminded me of Harry Potter in a good way. It was like, wow, this feels like it's its own thing enough, but like it's not trying to copy Harry Potter, but it's like nostalgic. It's like almost like playing on my nostalgia of Harry Potter in like a positive way. Like, you know, there's like a dance, there's like a sort of water-based, almost like Goblet of Fire-esque sequence at the game, like the games, the Triwizard Tournament kind of. And there's like even more than that. Just the fact that they're at a school, like a magical school, but they kind of go more out with the magic, having more beasts and stuff that even Harry Potter does. Like there's sort of like there's, you know, obviously werewolves and there's like sirens, and there's like Medusa based characters, so they're called, I don't remember what Medusa is called, but like with snakes on their heads. And then there's like, you know, these, I don't even want to spoil it by saying like all the like a few of the others, but yeah, I recommend Wednesday to anybody who honestly just wants to have an enjoying show to watch. It's only 8 episodes.
I haven't even seen Wednesday, and I recommend Wednesday.
Yeah, I just like it, and I think the energy brought to the show was really good. And sometimes shows are like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are very specific about the type of show that they want to watch. But I just feel like this show is like enjoyable, like all around, and I really liked it, and I can't wait for season 2. I'm very excited.
Is it good for the whole family or not?
I mean, I maybe not like. I mean, yeah, it's not like super terrifying. Like there are parts of it that are kind of creepy, but the monster's not like that scary to look at. Like it's just like a, you know, it's not like a super high budget or anything. But I mean, some of the humor is pretty dark from Wednesday, so maybe not for like little kids, but I feel like it's like, you know,
4-year-olds no, but
I feel like a middle schooler could watch it. Yeah, I feel like a middle schooler would be fine to watch it.
Okay,
like middle schooler to any age or something.
Middle schooler up.
Yeah.
Middle schooler up.
So I give Wednesday a very positive review. I'm very excited for season 2, and I hope it continues to do well, because I've never been like huge on the Addams Family or anything. I never disliked the Addams Family, but and Thing, like the hand in the show is just like fantastic. He's so awesome. Like the hand. Like
the hand.
Like
the hand in the show does an amazing performance.
He's like, what? No, I know. Like literally, there's an actor behind it, and like he is like Wednesday's sidekick, and it is hilarious, and he's so emotive with his hand. It like made me rethink of acting completely. I'm like, oh my gosh, if your hand can be so emotive, then you got, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can do more.
Exactly.
You can do more as an actor, bro.
I wonder what they like thought of though. Like, what are we looking for an actor to play Thing? Like, does he like? I guess he needed to be able to do like sign language with like one hand.
Yeah, I think definitely they're looking for someone that's very articulate with their hands.
Yeah.
Clearly. I'm curious to know who the actor is behind Thing, and like, was it just like was it like a professional person, or was it more like a random person that's like, oh, they have a really nice looking hand, like maybe that could be Thing or something? Because you know, it's such
like
a weird,
like in Zoolander, it's like the guy with like the hand. You remember the guy, like the guy with he had the perfect hand, so he like kept it
yeah,
like a tube.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some people just have really good features that you can just kind of, like in Euphoria, there's that one guy that plays, I think his name is Fez in the show, and he's like not an actor. Like he just...
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, like a writer or a director like saw him on the street one day and was just like, hey, you look really good for this show. And they brought him on the show.
That's so wild. Yeah.
It's so whack. So I wonder if it was something like that where they were like, oh, this guy's a really nice hand. Let's have him play Thing or something.
I looked it up for the original TV show for the Addams Family, which was like the 1960s. And the guy who played Lurch, who I can't even really remember who Lurch is. I think he's kind of like a sort of Frankenstein-esque presence in the house, though. He was actually the actor for Lurch and Thing. But for whatever reason...
it's like Thing's hand... Lurch's hand is Thing.
I don't think so. I just think that he also doubled as the actor for Thing because they weren't going to hire another guy for the TV show. So they just used...
No, I see.
I think. I haven't seen the show, though. I could be proven wrong. Maybe it was Lurch's hand. But I don't think so. But in the IMDb credits, like on the TV show, the original one, it's like Thing is listed as himself. Like, it says Thing, and then for who plays Thing, it says itself.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then you go to, like, Thing's acting credits, and it's, like, the TV show and, like, the movie or whatever based on the TV show. And I'm like, what the heck? So, like, on IMDb, like, the guy who played Lurch is not even credited as playing Thing. Thing is, like, itself. Like, they tried to, like, really, like...
Thing is its own actor.
Isn't that funny? I thought that was so weird.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is really funny.
But but I had to Google it, and that's how I figured out that it was the guy who played Lurch that did it.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. That hand, and also some of the, like, the way that they do the hand, like, I'm curious how, like, the CG or, like, or how they did it practically. Because some parts I'm like, there's no way you can do that with an actual person's hand. But in other ways, I'm like, well,
Yeah, it must be like CG in some shots, and then they just like switch it or something like that.
Yeah, like Baby Yoda is an actual like animatronic thing. Like it's an actual thing, but in some shots they CG it because you couldn't do it with an actual like robot animatronic thing.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, that's my guess. That makes the most sense. Anyway, is there anything else that you wanted to like catch me up on your time, or is that basically your
That's been my time so far. Just being locked in, doing a lot of music, reading, trying to get reading more.
Nice.
And getting excited for these holidays, man. Like my mom just called me earlier and was like, "Yo, we are going stupid when it comes to Christmas decorations and gifts this year. Like Christmas is looking extra. Like she showed me like her room, and there's a full-size Christmas tree just in her room alone that like has like the snow coming off of it and everything. And I'm like, yo, like back in the day when I was a kid, like growing up, I was the one that was way more interested in Christmas than she was.
Yeah.
But now it's totally flipped where, like, it's not that I'm not interested in Christmas. It's just, it's like another year.
Yeah.
But for her, it's like, oh, no, Christmas, we're going out of our way. We're putting candy canes up. Like, we're getting the whole thing, like, laid out. Like, she got lights that are voice activated.
Whoa, wow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, damn, Mom, like, where'd all this Christmas spirit come from?
You're like, flame on.
No, exactly. And the lights just come right on. It's crazy this year, man.
That's awesome.
Christmas is gonna be crazy this year.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited for you to get back here pretty soon, and
we'll do a live pod. I'm curious to see how this comes out because we are FaceTiming right now.
No, this is kind of
like a delay and everything.
This is definitely an experiment. This is definitely an experiment, but I think it'll come. I think we had a
podcast episode.
I think we had a good conversation over FaceTime. It kind of felt like a normal podcast episode, even though I'm talking to you on a phone right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it felt good to me, but I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna come out. I'm curious.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how it goes. See, hopefully, people enjoy the conversation.
I think so. I think so. All right. Well, should we sign off with a Christmassy themed goodbye?
Yes. This has been King Cudjo
and Cough Drippy,
and I wish to everyone a Merry Christmas and a very good night.
Oh yeah, and you'll get much more Christmas episodes before Christmas actually happens.
We're doing a whole thing. We're doing a whole That's the thing. If you thought Mariah Carey was bad, you're going to see what we're about to do this whole month, bro. It's all Christmas theme. Yeah. It's all Christmas all the time. Screw any other holiday. Christmas all the time.
All right, yeah. So, we'll catch you next week, hopefully in person, which I think it should be. And, peace out.
All right, 2 Chainz.
Woo!